So you bought yourself an RX 6400, or you're thinking about buying an RX 6400 GPU. You're wondering what kind of performance you can get out of it. That's what today's video is all about. I got some benchmarks, about 6 different benchmarks and games to show you what kind of performance you can get out of this little GPU. There'll be links in the description below. Certain part of the video you'd like to jump to, you're more than welcome to do so. Some other links down there may interest you. Don't get the all that fun YouTube stuff when you way down that description box. Without wasting a lot of your time, let's flip over here and we'll run down through the components that make up today's test bed. Start out the components that make up today's test bed. We have the AMD Ryzen 7 5800X. The motherboard is the Gigabyte B550 Aorus Pro. The storage is the Silicon Power 512 gigabit NVMe M.2, which is a Gen 3 x 4 SSD. For the RAM, we have G-Skills Ripjaw 5 Series 16 gig, 28 gig sticks around 3600 megahertz. For the GPU, we have the XFX Speedster SWFT 105 Radeon RX 6400 4 gigabit cord. To house everything, we have the Cooler Master Half XB Evo high airflow test bench. And to power everything in the system, we have the EVGA 650 GQ 210 650 watt semi-modular power supply. The games I tested in today's video is going to be Cyberpunk 2077. That was ran at 1080p low settings. I did run Heaven Benchmark as well. I also ran Fortnite on low settings with epic view distance, along with Apex Legends, which was on 1080p high, and Rocket League that was on 1080p high. I tried to pick games that I thought most people would be wanting to play with a video card in this caliber. So without wasting all your time, I'll show you some gameplay footage as I run down through the numbers that I got while playing the games. Alright guys, here we are. We're running Cyberpunk 2077 at 1080p, low settings. Average frame rate was 45.1. Minimum frame rate was 30.5, maximum frame rate was 60.8, 1% low frame rate was 28.8, and 1/10% frame rate was 3.4. Alright guys, here's Heaven Benchmark running at 1080p on high settings. The average was 110.5, the minimum was 78.8, the maximum was 222.1, the 1% low was 80.2, and the 1/10% low was 27.8. Alright guys, here we are. We're running Apex Legends at 1080p high. Average frame rate was 59.8. Minimum frame rate was 45.7. Maximum frame rate was 61.8. 1% low was 53.9. And the 1/10% low was 21.9. Here we go guys, we have Rocket League. This was 1080p on high settings. Average frame rate was 169.2. Minimum frame rate was 136.3. Maximum frame rate was 261.9. 1% low was 62.5. And 1/10% low was 46.9. Alright guys, here we go. We're running CSGO with 1080p on high settings. The average frame rate was 161.3. Minimum frame rate was 73.7. Maximum frame rate was 399.9. 1% low frame rate was 67.9. 1/10% low frame rate was 34.2. Alright guys, and here's everybody's favorite, Fortnite. We're running at 1080p on low settings with the max field of view distance for you. We got the average of 263. We have a minimum of 0.9. We have a maximum frame rate of 1008.7. We have a 1% low frame rate of 40.7. And we have a 1/10% low frame rate of 3.9. On this one here, I don't know why the maximum frame rate was so high, but I did play this game several different times to get some good footage and try to get an average on the gameplay or on the frame rates. And every time I ended up with that kind of frame rate. I don't know if it's because of a load screen or something like that. Maybe I just ran across the black screen at some point in the gameplay or something like that to cause that high frame rate. But every time I did try to play it, that was about the average of the numbers that I got in the game. I know these numbers are a little bit smashed together on the chart, but here's the chart I put together. If you'd like to pause the video at this point and actually take a look at these numbers, that's pretty well the numbers that I written down as I was showing you the game footage. This way you have a little bit of a better idea, or you can pause it and you can actually study the numbers if you'd like to. I ran down through the components to make up today's test bed. Ran down through the games and how I did my testing, which all the games was tested on a PCI Gen 4 lane in the system. I will have a video coming up on testing the same games with the PCI Gen 3 lane instead of x4 lane to see what the difference is. And I also showed you what kind of numbers I ended up with. That Fortnite number, I can't explain that. Like I said, I ran that 3 or 4 different times and I still ended up with a very high maximum frame rate. And I don't know why that was. I don't know what part of the gameplay was making that happen. But them's the numbers I ended up with. My final thought on this video cord. This cord does get a lot of slack from people on the internet and people that actually buy these cords and review them. If you're looking at 1080p experience at some of the lesser titles, I think you'd be alright with this cord. Today the filming, you can pick this video cord up for around $150, which ain't too bad of a price, I don't feel. If you want to go on the used market, you can probably get a little bit better performance for the same $150, but you're going to go with a little bit older GPU, and you ain't going to have the warranty behind you. That is an option. There is some video cards out there that can do better than this video card for the same price if you're willing to go on the used option. This card does fill a gap that's been in the GPU market for quite some time, I feel. It is a low profile card. It is good for like your Dell Optiplex builds and whatnot if you want to turn Dell Optiplex into a gaming PC. And we haven't had anything in this form factor for quite some time in the GPU market. I think it does feel in pretty good. As long as you ain't going to be playing AAA titles at 1080p, I think you'd be alright with this cord. If you'd like to pick one of these cords up, there will be a link in the description below. Some other links down there that may interest you. Don't forget to all that fun YouTube stuff on your way down that description box. You all have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video or live stream.